Hi FlossTube, I'm Michelle from Michelle's Romantic Tangle, and today we're going to do a flip through of Four Seasons in Cross Stitch by Jane Netley Mayhew and Nikki Wheeler. I went through the cross stitch section of the library the other day while my kids were off looking for books, doing whatever they were doing that was taking a lot longer than usual. So I went through all of the old cross stitch books that were on the shelf and came across this one, which I haven't seen before. And there are some interesting patterns in here that I thought I would love to share with you. The publication date for this one is 1997. I checked and there are copies currently available on Amazon. They are not as expensive as I'd like my very old cross-stitch books to be, but as of today there are cheaper copies available on Barnes & Noble and some of the other used book sites. I will put the Amazon link in the description so that you can get all of the information about the book and go from there if you want to check it out. I think I do want to find my own copy of this one because it has got some interesting patterns. So we start with spring and some fighting rabbits. And I'm not into, these are fox egg cozies, and I guess the larger fox would be a teapot cozy. Their ears are sewn on from a separate fabric. I'm not sure about those. I like the dandelion clock with the stages of the dandelion. I'm not sure how many cross-stitch clocks I can justify in my life, so I probably won't do that one myself. A wildflower patchwork quilt and pillows with cross-stitched elements. Down on the Farm calls it a baby's cot blanket, and there are pigs and rabbits and chicks. Puffins. Sunflowers. This is seasonal and we're in summer right now. I do like this Summer Fruits footstool. I don't know if I would stitch a footstool, but those colors and shading are gorgeous. I would absolutely consider stitching that someday in the crazy distant endless hours of time that we all know that we would love to have but don't. There's a fish mobile. A flower garland. There are projects here I can see myself stitching, like those rabbits, and others that I can't. What are these? This is the Foxglove collection. There is a draft excluder, a door finger plate, and I think one of them is a bell pull. What is a door finger plate? If you know, will you let me know? Because I'm curious. I think that might be the smaller one. The pattern calls for a Perspex finger plate fitting. And now we are on to Autumn with the hedgehog, which is the reason I picked the book up to look at it. I know that British hedgehogs or European hedgehogs are different than the African pygmy hedgehogs like my daughter has. So that probably explains why his face is different. She used ribbon to do the spikes, and I'm always looking at hedgehog cross-stitch patterns, look at the shape of the face and how they did the spines or quills. Mice, brambles, and berries. This is a vest with just cute little forest mice. Some of the projects might be, I hate the word dated, but sometimes it's the only word that works. These are some absolutely adorable little mice brooches. There's a gorgeous barn owl. Autumn leaves. and a wild mushroom study. This is another of the reasons why I picked up this book, because I see where she did them all here in a strip. I really like that. As much as I am not a fan of trigger warnings, where trigger warnings might be excessive, if you don't like snakes, you might want to skip Adder and Autumn Leaves. If you don't mind snakes, I'd love your opinions on this one. Take a look at this picture. It took my mother and I some serious time. I was able to find the snake on the chart, but here's the tip of his tail, and he serpentines down through the leaves to, I believe, that is his head. I have never seen a cross-stitch pattern like it, and I kind of want to stitch it, because my house full of boys, a cross-stitch snake hiding in leaves just seems appropriate, and it looks like it would be a fun stitch or a challenging stitch. What do you think of this one? Do you stitch this one for the family member you don't like who is terrified of snakes? Because it seems like if you liked snakes, you'd stitch a more prominent snake. I'm curious. I have never... Here, the snake is more visible in this one. I have never seen a cross-stitch pattern like it, and I am so curious and intrigued. Then we move on to winter with little birds on the bird feeder. We're back into more traditional, and a Christmas roses, dressing gown, and pansy bookmark. We're back into more traditional stitchery. Much more traditional stitchery with Oscar and Friends. And here is winter leaves and berries. And another vest. We move on to Otter on the Seashore. I think we're in winter at this point. Here is Otter on the Seashore. This is another one that I can see myself stitching. I think I will. The more I look at this book, the more I think I am going to track down a copy to buy for myself. That is, what is that? Christmas roses. It is a cake band? It is a cake band. Is that a cake cover or a cake, or what is going on there? There's some projects here I'm not familiar with. So that is Four Seasons in Cross Stitch by Jane Netley Mayhew and Nikki Wheeler. When I was looking to find the book online, Jane Netley Mayhew on her website has a section showing all of the cross-stitch books that she has been involved in. And it looks like there's some that are maybe a similar tone to this one. So I will put a link to that in the description if you want to check out her other books. And I will definitely be looking at the library to see if I can find copies to flip through. Once again, I am Michelle from Michelle's Romantic Tangle. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more tutorials and cross-stitch book flip-throughs and thrift with me, please subscribe. I'll see you again soon with a new video.